Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question that goes back to their question about a psychopath and how can they have sort of this pathological hatred. Where does this hatred come from? Why are they so angry? Why are they so hateful of others? Why do they ruin others? Why do they take advantage? Why are they sort of nihilistic of others? Why are they so, how can they be so cold or callous and often to the depths with which you will not experience from other people? Well, I think to understand, why do they have this sort of hatred, this scowl, this demeaning look, that the looks that could kill, the looks that could crumble. I mean, that they could, it's just like the wickedness that you might consider, or what a lot of our viewers would say, evil or demonic or something. Well, I think what you are experiencing, or rather witnessing, is the absence of love. So it's not so much the hate, the fear, it's that sort of never-ending dark abyss which feels like it'll never end, because it does not for them. They don't have any end to their absence of love. So they don't have an ability to do this, to have that warmth, that nurturing, that eye contact, that affection, that sort of what you might consider empathetic or compassionate communication. It is all cerebral. It is all learned. It's all mimicry that they have picked up. It's very disingenuine. It is very fake. So even the hatred is really fake. It's their lack. They have an emotional immaturity and an emotional inability to register, to experience empathy and morality. So if you can really understand what the depth of that statement means, you will then understand its manifestation, or its presence, or its whereabouts in your life. So if you can understand that you can't take it personally, you have witnessed this. It's not so much that it was directed at you, that it might have felt directed at you, but it is just their shortfall. It is their weakness. It is their shortcoming. It is their inability. You cannot get blood from a turnip or a stone or whatever it was. You cannot get love from a psychopath. You cannot. It is just not, because you cannot give that with which you do not have. You can make pretend, you can make believe, you can mimic, you can act as if, you can be an actor, you can be a movie star, you can go to Hollywood. I mean, you can learn a set of script, you can memorize things to say and do and looks and dress and things like that. But, that is just, for them, it's a character study. It's nothing more. It's not who they really are. And so it's very weird and terrifying when you see the mask drop, which is really, you're seeing what's behind the curtains. You're seeing what's in the backstage. You're sort of in the alley. You're really sort of on the road that's less traveled. You're in some place that most people wouldn't go or see or want to go or see, but you just, whoa, how did I end up here? Well, you might have witnessed this then. You might have then experienced it, and because you were around it, especially if it was early in your life, you might have thought it was directed or your reality to you. In other words, a definition of yourself. You are ridiculous. You are unbelievable. You are unlovable. I mean, they might have even said these things to you. I wish you were a male. I wish you were a female. I don't want to be bothered with you. You're this. I mean, these hurtful things that just go, to the bottom of your I am, your identity. And a lot of people then take it at face value. Oh, wow, my life is in trouble now. I am hated. I am unloved. I am all these, different things. And so then they try to sort of it's kind of like that little grain of sand that the oyster then tries to overcoat so it doesn't continue to irritate, but they're always feeling like that grain of sand or insignificant. And then people develop what they feel oftentimes as a shell of an identity until they really realize the truth of what they experienced, what they saw, what was going on, what did they come across, what did they walk up on. It's literally kind of like that. It's kind of like you're on your journey and you just happened upon this individual. You might have had repeated exposure, repeated experience, for a long period of time. It might have been very severe, very deep, but then once you understand that they do not possess the experience of love. So they don't have that running through their veins. They don't have that oozing out of their aura. They don't have that as part of their being. They are not loving people. They do not have this or integrity. They just don't. They don't possess it. And if you want them to tell you this or you're waiting for this, you might find yourself waiting for a long period of time. You just have to know that because it's very condition based, especially those people who they take on. There's usually very specific conditions that this person will meet to provide for them so they can continue their life. And especially if there is no one else there to witness. So they will really sort of terrorize people through the isolation. So, where no one else can see it, where no one else can hear it except for you. So if they can sort of yell at you and slam the door, yell at you and slam the door, yell at you and slam the door. So if they can do that, they can tell you and sort of feed you this anti-growth fertilizer, emotional fertilizer, so you'll just decompose, decay, corrode, your identity feels corrupted. You might have then become what they painted you as. I'm a bad person, I'm a derelict, I'm a ne'er-do-well. I mean, did you become their negative commands? I mean, do you see? You have to see the difference. It's what they will project, and especially what their target is the corrosion of identity, the disruption of security, because if then you're always a point of contention for them. If you could rise up, this is what they want this is what they don't want at all costs, that you are to grow, be happy, to be the wiser. No, this is not what they want. So if they, especially for those people, those pivotal people, if they can diminish, minimize, destroy, ruin, annihilate, meaning make you non-important, non-valuable, on the map, not on the Richter, non-existent, they can basically bring you within an inch of your life, which is basically what they do. They know no limits. How could somebody be this cruel? I mean, this just this is just who they are. This is who they are, and until you recognize and validate that, then they'll continue to do this, and they'll continue to get away with it, and you'll continue to witness and experience this. And especially for a lot of children, I think, who have been around psychopathic parents, and we do have a lot of those viewers here on the channel, their sense of I am was hurt and injured from a very early age. So, you have to realize from 0 to 7 is where you're kind of creating your truth, of who you think you are, what you're capable of, your agency, your industriousness, your autonomy, your feeling of being loved and confident and strong, and then I can handle these things at school, I can handle these things in the neighborhood, I can handle these things at home, but if you didn't have that, so then maybe you experience the absence of love, which, it becomes a very conditional existence. You can only exist if, and so very conditioned, and love is unconditional. Unconditional positive self-regard is what you need to reprogram and recondition yourself. I have unconditional positive self-regard. Your hair's out of place. your foot is funny, your hand is funny, your earlobes, whatever it is was the point of contention. I mean, how many people can pull out the ridiculousness of their being attacked, and then made to feel worthless, unimportant. They will annihilate. These people are nihilistic, which means they don't find any value in anything. They don't find any value. There is no value in anything or any position. I mean, it can be very, very bad. And especially if there's no mediator, no one else to witness, no one else to call a referee, to call a timeout. Whoa, this is no good. This is too much. This is hurtful. This is inhumane. Do you see how they then get away with it and then, abuse by proxy? It's like if they can hurt you, early in your life, then you can continue to carry on the tradition of re-hurting yourself. Do you see how, for them, it's like if they can do their hateful job good enough, then they can create this as a reality in other people, disarming them from keeping them accountable. Do you see how they can then not be exposed, not see through for who they are? A psychopath, sometimes they fear being exposed. Sometimes they feel that they're so good, or even if they are, they're not worried about consequences. It doesn't matter. This is just where most people would be fearful of things fearful of being called out, or things of that nature. They just feel that they'll always be able to Houdini themselves out. They have no qualms about lying, about seething anger, about being inappropriate. They are operating from no limits. They are not fearful of any consequences. I mean, just think of yourself. If you were to charge up a visa that you couldn't pay for, wouldn't you kind of feel sick? Wouldn't you feel that you did something wrong? And then next thing you've got problems. These people, they don't feel those sort of problems. They just don't feel bad, remorse, regret for hurting people, doing things on whatever scale. So do not try to make them feel guilty. Do not try to make them feel guilty because they don't feel guilty. So it's nope. If you try to make them feel guilty like a normal person, they did this, they don't have any guilt, any remorse. This was required for me. This is what I had to do. I mean, they will just explain them away themselves. They will never. So if you try to make them feel guilty or think that they were wrong, it's not going to connect. It's not going to work. In fact, they will just continue with their free-for-all. I still have I'm so sorry. I have hay fever and I have my itchy nose, my eyes itching, sneezing, etc. So forgive me about that. And, they oftentimes don't know when to stop. So if you have experienced this, you've witnessed this. Just say, I have witnessed this. I have experienced this. This does not define who I am. I have witnessed this. I have experienced this. This does not define who I am or who I am to become. I am. I am lovable. I am humane. I have a heart. I have empathy. I have truth. I have a voice. I have morality. I have, creativity. I know how to take care of myself. I have wisdom. I have an intelligence. I have a strength. I have a love of. I mean, you need to kind of get to know yourself. Have a positive self-talk refresher. Get back on the positive train. That is where it's at. Do not take the crazy train into the forest of despair. No, thank you. I'm shredding up my tickets. I can't go there anymore. Tickets are no longer for sale. Sorry, we cannot go there anymore. Period, end of story, and put an end to those wrong those wrongs within yourself. That's an important way to healing and getting the sanctity and the sanity and coming back to your senses and coming back to your I am, and identify with something which is your truth, which is oftentimes very completely different than the psychopath is trying to make you or paint you out to be. This is just what they do. This is just what they do. It's just what they do. Don't take it personally. It could have been someone else who was witnessing this, experiencing this, who had all the qualities of a great person. Don't feel that it's too late, because it's not. If you're still watching this, you have a saving grace. I am. Follow it by the positive and begin to feel okay having a positive or even neutral, truthful sense of self, rather than the disordered, false, or chaotic sense of love and hate that they will try to inflict into other people's mindset and into their being, into their heart. Refuse for those thoughts and seeds and really weeds and those things that sort of snake around and get a stranglehold on trees that sort of live off them in a parasitic way. Don't allow that negativity to live parasitically in your mind or heart. Refuse. Throw it out. It cannot grow here. You've got happy fertilizer. It cannot allow that negativity to grow. And so it is. Namaste. Have a beautiful day. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos do help. Please share. Please subscribe. And for goodness sake, please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. And follow the popcorn path to what we call positive, orderly direction, thinking, feeling, behaving, and becoming.